Hey YouTubers, I'm getting ready to dry rub some 2 racks of ribs here, and I'm going to just show you my dry rub. It's in the bowl here. What I use is 1 cup of dark brown sugar. I use a 1/2 cup of paprika. I'm not really into the big spice, but I use a 1/2 cup of that. 2 tablespoons of just regular salt. Tablespoon of black pepper, tablespoon of garlic powder, tablespoon of onion powder, and a tablespoon of cayenne pepper, and then about a 1/2 tablespoon of ground cumin. Then what I do is I'll just mix all this up, put a little bit of mustard on the ribs, and then sprinkle this dry rub and this little shaker here that I bought that I'll put that. This probably won't, I won't use all of this, but this seems to be a pretty good one. So I will show you more later. Okay, here's the rack of ribs. I have 3 of these to do up. A lot of guys will, trim them up and rip the membrane off and all that. Well, I really don't. I like the flavor. So what I do is I lay parchment paper down. And I just take regular old yellow mustard and I just go like that with it. And I'll kind of rub that out. And all this is basically like a binding. And it's flavorful too. But I'll do this like so. And then get my shaker here. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. So. And then I'll just shake the dry rub on there, coat it pretty good, really good, and then I'll repeat this process for the other ribs. I actually bought a special dry rub at the farmer's market from a guy. I'm going to give it a try on one of the racks, see what it comes out like. But just shake this all around to where it is. Basically, I'll flip it over and do the other side too. This is Big Papa's Memphis meat rub. I'm going to try this on one of the ribs, see how it turns out. So basically, I'm going to flip it over, put some mustard, sprinkle it on, then I transfer it into this pan, lay all 3 racks in there, put cellophane over it, clear plastic wrap, stick it in the fridge for, I like to go overnight. The minimum I've ever done is 3 hours, but some people throw it right on the grill. But I like to have it sit in the rub overnight and kind of marinate in there, and then I'll throw them on the grill, the smoker. Okay, so the ribs are taking them out of the fridge, and they've been in there for over a day, and now I'm going to put them on the traeger here. So got it up to temp. What I'm going to do is just take them, and I like to put them bone side up, so that when they cook, any juices or anything is trapped kind of in the cavity or the shape of the bones. But so anyway, we will put these on here like so. Got it set at well, it's set at 180. It's running around 225 right now. It's coming down. We'll leave this on here for 2 hours, and then we'll go over the next step. Okay, so the ribs have been on the traeger now for about 2.5 hours, and so next process, I'm going to pull them off, put them on some aluminum foil, add some apple juice over them, and then I'm also going to coat them with butter and then sprinkle brown sugar over the top of them on this last rack. I haven't done that on the other 2. So you can see here, I've got 2 already done in there, and now I'm just going to pull the 3rd one off here and put it here on the foil, close the lid. So I'm going to try to do this all one-handed. So put the butter over here, I'm just going to wipe it down with some butter, just to kind of add as a, I guess it's more, it does add some flavor, and then it also is a great binding for it. It kind of helps everything stick together and adds moisture, like so. Get some brown sugar here. Like I said, I'm trying to do this one-handed, so hope I don't make a mess, because I should have portioned this out before I did this step. So anyhow, I'm just going to try this out, see how this did. I've seen people do this before. It looked really good. Adds a little more sweetness. And then take the rack here. Let's just try this. Try not to burn myself. Flip it over. And we'll hit this side. Like so. I don't know how these are going to turn out. I hope they turn out really good. So anyhow, we're going to do this, and then I'll let them go in this for another hour. Just at this, I'll crank up to, I'm running probably 225 to 250 as far as heat for this last hour in the foil with the apple juice. The apple juice is basically, they call it a minion. He's the one that kind of started this way. But basically what you're doing is you're boiling the ribs in the foil. So it somewhat, if you want to say, adds moisture back in to the ribs as it's boiling them in the... So basically I just kind of cup the foil up around it, and then I grab my apple juice, and all I do is just kind of pour it up over the top of it. In this case it's running all the brown sugar off, but maybe it'll add back in it. So then all I do is I wrap the foil on real tight, put it back on the grill for another hour, and we'll come back then. Okay, so now I'm going to make a couple of sauces. I'm going to make a diet cherry Dr. Pepper sauce. I'm going to use about 1.5 cups of this, a cup of brown sugar, about a cup of Sweet Baby Ray's, and then a tablespoon of honey. And kind of, I have a little stove that I heat all that up, and then just stir it up, and then use it as a mopping on top of it. And then one of the other racks, I'm just going to try, I just picked this up, Hunt's brown sugar sauce. And then the third rack, I think I'm just going to leave it all natural, see how it turns out. So I'm going to mix these up and then go out and start mopping the ribs. Okay, we're back out here. They've been wrapped up in foil for over an hour, and you can see how they look like in the foil here. And basically what I do is I just unwrap them, drain off the juice, and then I'm going to start mopping them. So just let me get it out of here, and we will start that process. Alright, so basically I've got my regular old store-bought barbecue sauce here ready to do one, and then I have my diet cherry Dr. Pepper sauce here with honey. This is basically just a paintbrush that I bought that I just only use for putting on sauce. And then of course I have my bigger mop one for this. So basically all I'm going to do is just open them up, and we'll start here. And you want to coat them pretty good. Basically what I do is every 10 minutes I come out and put another coat on top of them, and let it get kind of, I guess the easiest way to say is sticky on them, and just do this for 1 hour. So every 10 minutes I come out, put some more sauce on, and then I call it good. The diet cherry Dr. Pepper sauce I keep on my little warmer so that it stays nice and warm and doesn't freeze up on me. So for an hour, I just come out and do this. Okay, so we're back out here to pull the ribs off. So let's just have a quick look here. Let's see. That's the one with no sauce at all. So what we're going to do now is just take them off. See that there. And take them in the house. And cut them up and see how they turned out. Alright, here's the finished product. You can just see the moisture in these things. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so that's how I do them. Kind of review, put a dry rub for overnight, then put them on the Traeger or your smoker for 2 hours at 180, unwrapped, and then wrap them in heavy foil with apple juice to kind of boil them in the heavy foil. Just a little bit of half a cup of apple juice for another hour, and then the last hour I unwrap them, put them back on. I should say I turn it up to 225 while they're wrapped, and keep it at 225 at the last stage for the last hour of putting mop sauce on them. And when I do that, every 10 minutes for an hour, I go out and put some more sauce on it, 10 to 15 minutes. And then I just bring them in, cut them up, and that's the finished product. You can see it's really good. It's not fall off the bone. You want a little bit of a tear to them, so they come out perfect this way. I would just have to finish up by saying the first video when I'm doing this. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll try to answer them, and don't beat me up too bad, as I'm just learning how to do this. Anyway, enjoy.